I would have normally just shelved this topic for the weekend because that's normally when we do our Durham report stuff. Incidentally, I don't really plan it out that way, but that's just how it's kind of worked so far. But because this is kind of breaking news, we might as well touch on it right today, because this snowball, if I record anything or just wait for it, could just grow a little bit too unruly and out of control, because as of right now, John Durham has issued trial subpoenas to members of the Clinton campaign and the DNC. Yeah, so it looks like this Durham report is actually going to bear some fruit after all, in some form or fashion. Even just comparing it to the Mueller probe, which was like, more Russia, and guess what came out of that? Nothing. But at least with this one, the full report's not even out yet, right? This is just the fucking filings and shit like that. We're getting like subpoenas and trial cases are actually happening, so that's good. It's good. It's a step in the right direction, okay? It's just regrettably, 5-6 years too late? Anyways, special counsel John Durham has issued trial subpoenas for Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign, the DNC, Fusion GPS, and Perkins Coie, as he continues to prosecute his filings as special counsel, from which he charged cybersecurity lawyer Michael Sussmann, who in 2016 represented the Clinton campaign, with lying to the FBI. Clinton's 2016 campaign, the DNC, Washington-based private intelligence firm Fusion GPS, and law firms Perkins Coie, Sussmann's former employer, meanwhile, are trying to fend off Durham's efforts to compel, the power of Durham compels you, them to hand over previously withheld documents. Campaign and Sussmann's lawyers argued the attorney-client privilege should allow them to keep those records concealed. You failed on that. Durham, who was tasked around May of 2019 with reviewing the origins of the 2016-17 FBI investigation into the now disproven and now just laughed at hysterically, if we're being honest, Trump-Russia collusion narrative, says his investigation has led him to believe that the Clinton allied group played a coordinating role in pushing false claims. In May of 2017, special counsel and former FBI head Robert Mueller ultimately found no Russia collusion to sway the 2016 election. Oh, but he still could be held liable. Remember that nonsense? Earlier this month, Durham said that Fusion GPS was not primarily providing or supporting expertise relating to legal advice. Instead, it appears that the investigative firm's primary, if not sole, function was to generate opposition research materials that the firm then shared widely. On April 23rd, Durham said of the group's meeting to agree the express goal of the joint venture is precisely what happened here on more than one occasion. Special counsel said that Tech Executive 1, Rodney Joffe, Originator 1, there's no organization here at all, April Lorenzen of the information service firm Zetalytics, and other researchers started to discuss searching for and collecting derogatory internet data about the online activities of Trump and his associates in June of 2016. Lorenzen assembled and shared initial purported data with Joffe, who in turn shared the data. With Sussmann, Durham added. The joint venture continued and crystallized in early August 2016, where Sussmann, Joffe, and agents of the Clinton campaign, name them in writing, met, Durham said, while citing August 12, 2016 meeting where Sussmann, Joffe, Mark Elias, former Perkins Coie partner, and the co-founder of Fusion, gathered in Elias's office to discuss the same Russian Bank 1 allegations that the defendant would later bring to the FBI. That would be the Alpha Bank, I do believe. The parties agreed to conduct the work in the hopes that it would benefit the Clinton campaign, namely gathering and disseminating purported derogatory data regarding Trump and his associates' internet activities, Durham wrote. The evidence will show that as a result of these conversations and during the same time period, Tech Executive 1, that's Joffe, did exactly that. He tasked employees from multiple internet companies and a university working under the pending national security contract to mine and gather vast amounts of internet metadata in order to support an interference and narrative tying the candidate Trump to Russia. Durham then went on to add that Joffe continued the joint ventures via an August 17th, 2016 call with Sussmann and Elias, on August 19th, 2016 meeting with Sussmann and Elias, and a September 8th, 2016 call with and a meeting with Sussmann. All of these, Durham said, citing calendars he had viewed, were billed to the Clinton campaign by the defendant. So we've done a whole bunch of background on this stuff in the past and previous videos, so we'll jump ahead a little bit. Following the subpoenas, lawyers for Sussmann moved to prevent materials being admitted in the case and argued that that they are protected by attorney-client privilege. They called Durham's subpoenas astonishing and legally inappropriate, and then the judge just went, no, actually they're completely the opposite of that, and they are in fact they're quite astonishing, in fact, but they are legally appropriate, so sucks to suck, I guess. But according to John Ratcliffe, who kind of tipped everybody off in earnest to the fact that, yeah, the Russia-Trump narrative in 2016 was total fucking bullshit. He does believe, and this is a guy who was, like the title says, the Director of National Intelligence. He was kind of the overseer of all the intelligence agencies. He's expecting more indictments. And again, this could be another one of those things where somebody who's in the know is maybe reading a little bit too deeply into this stuff, or the fact that he has firsthand information of a lot of the shit that was going on. He might want to perk an ear to what he has to say. Former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe said that there are still many more classified documents that should be released in connection to the Special Counsel John Durham investigation. Yeah, there should be, because the report's not done yet. Which he said will appall the public if they are declassified. And that's a big motherfucking if. I expect there to be a lot more indictments to be forthcoming from John Durham, besides the ones that have trickled out so far. And that's based upon documents, many of which, are not yet declassified. Shit that he would know about, but he can't talk about under threat of perjury and treason, really. Ratcliffe told the Charlie Kirk Show, that strange-looking giant. The man's head is 5 sizes too big for his face. When Ratcliffe was still in office as the nation's top intelligence officials, he announced in October of 2020 that he provided about 1,000 pages of materials to the Department of Justice to aid Durham. Currently, Durham has 2 active prosecutions that are ongoing as part of his probe into the origins of the Trump-Russia collusion narrative. Last year, he charged former DNC and Clinton campaign lawyer Michael Sussmann, lying to the FBI, and weeks later he charged Russia analyst Igor Danchenko with lying to the Bureau. Oh my God. Both men have pleaded not guilty. Yeah, but they're going to be going on trial here in mid-May. I do believe March is like way long gone. I think May 16th, some shit like that. Don't quite remember, but it's coming up. A coordinated effort here took place in 2016, was wide and broad. Yes, lots of broads were involved. I think it involved folks in the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Party, elected officials, media officials, folks that coordinated intelligence community officials, and on down the line. I'm sure it did, but the amount of people that are going to be indicted or subpoenaed or even held accountable for this stuff, don't expect big names to roll, because that's not the way that any of this shit fucking works, okay? Yeah, all of the big names that you'd want to see come down on this, Clinton, Obama, Biden, okay? They have a whole host of go-betweens here. It's not going to be Watergate 2.0, okay? It's not going to be, big guys up at the top are going to get named and finger-pointed and then just marched out in shackles, okay? Nobody's going to be chanting, lock her up, as she's traded in her floral patterned pantsuit for something in a little bit more of an orange tone. No, it's going to be people like Sussmann, okay? It might get as high as Mark Elias. That's about it, though. I'm not saying that every single one of those folks have criminal liability or exposure, said Ratcliffe. I'm just trying to say that it was a very coordinated effort, and more the public finds out about the things that I've seen that remain classified, they'll be more and more appalled by those efforts in 2016. On April 20th, Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign filed court papers to intervene in Durham's case against Sussmann after federal prosecutors sought to compel the DNC, Clinton's campaign, and other associates to produce documents for Sussmann's upcoming trial. The campaign asserts its attorney-client privilege in the Attorney Work Product Protection with respect to all documents and information under control of Perkins Coie or any of the consultants, including Fusion GPS, and is not waiving any of its privileges, and it opposes the government's motion to compel John Podesta, a longtime child predator, Democratic operative, again, why am I being redundant, and the former chairman of the Clinton campaign, again, just to sorry for repeating myself, told the court in one filing last week. Robbie Mook, that sounds derogatory, who was Clinton's campaign manager, said that Sussmann's law firm put out a statement where Michael Sussmann didn't kill himself. Gave legal services and legal advice that entailed fact-finding and research, and fact-creating research, in fact, against then-candidate Donald Trump. Oh my God. Well, we'll see if we ever get to the bottom of this, but it's still fun to document all along the way because, hey, remember how big platforms, all of mainstream media, bit down so hard on all of the little details about Robert Mueller's probe and, oh my God, Russiagate running 24/7 on MSNBC and CNN. This isn't getting nearly the amount of sunlight that fucking horrific farce was, and nothing was coming out even before the declassification of all of the documents or even the proper report has even been released. So I was skeptical in the beginning, and the fact that it's taken so long, I still don't think that we're gonna see anybody doing the old perp walk out of their multi-million-dollar mansions. You're just gonna have to settle for a bunch of people just making some uncomfortable admissions that yeah, we did some fuck shit, but it was all our own decision. We weren't coerced by anybody because we don't want to, wind up running afoul of any powerful people. But until we find anything else about this, it'll be where it rests for a minute. Maybe it'll be this week, maybe it'll be next week, maybe we'll have to wait for the trial to start, which is only a couple of weeks anyway. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.